Hello everybody, this is Joe. Thank you for watching my Giga Texas update video. I would like to thank Bradford Ferguson of Halter Ferguson Financial and all of my patrons for your outstanding support. It really does help make these videos possible. There's been a lot of interest and a lot of questions about the structures they're building in and around the big pit to the south. So today I thought I would try to help answer some of those questions. We're familiar now with those structures inside the pit. Those are isolation foundations to support large stamping machines. And we've been watching the concrete structure with the columns and the roof form. And these are very substantial to help support large bridge cranes that will be sliding back and forth across that area. And in my 21 November video, I made this illustration to kind of give an idea of what this may look like with all the columns and so forth. And you can see the orange sliders, the red bridge cranes. And that is all well and good, but there's a lot of questions that have been coming up about that yellow structure we see in the upper right, which is like a top for those pits. And based on my earlier isolation foundation discussion, it's raised a lot of questions, including for myself. So I thought I would try to help answer a little bit of that today. So what we're seeing is we're building a structure that is to support the Schuler high-speed stamping plant. I selected this because this is the same that was used in Giga Shanghai and Berlin, and they also have some of these in Fremont. And not to go through all of this, but it's fully automated. It has a very high production rate, short changeover rates. It can be individually adapted, and most importantly is this machine can be used for steel and aluminum parts, which we know Tesla uses. There's a lot of information. It's in this PDF. The link is in the description of the video as well. I would recommend you take a look at this for more detailed information. So this is how an installation may look. They start with rolls of steel or aluminum as the initial material, and then these machines make the body parts, whether it's doors or frames or hoods or whatever needed for the car. And this differs significantly from the GigaPress casting machines, which we'll talk about later, but they're very different. As you can see in this installation, these are in the upper right, the orange shows the bridge cranes. You can see a bridge crane down in the left, the die loading, and then you can see that it has an integrated control room into this entire piece of machinery, which comes as a package deal. And then of course, it has automated material handling at the end when the materials are finished processing and coming out. In this image, we can see the rolls of steel that need the bridge cranes to be maneuvered to put into the machine for that to start processing and making parts. At the Fremont facility, this is the stamping dies for the Model 3, and you can see that the machine is pretty heavy and it uses those dies to form the parts, which in the lower picture you can see finished parts in racks waiting for further assembly. At Giga Shanghai, they use the Schuler machine, as you can see here, in their stamping area, and you can see the bridge cranes as well, and you can see finished parts coming off the end of the machine. I would also like to point out the links on the right-hand side. Jay in Shanghai has 3 videos that are excellent that shows the stamping machine at Giga Shanghai in operation, and I recommend you take a look at those links. So let's talk a little bit about the machine itself. As you can see, it's very large. I put the red line there to show that there's an upper and lower section, and underground there's some machinery associated with the press. For the operation, raw materials come in from the left. They are pulled through into the stamping machine area in the middle, and that's where the high pressure and the dies help form the parts needed to make the car. After this is completed, it comes out on that conveyor belt so that the parts can be collected and used for final assembly. And we saw that in the Giga Shanghai picture. So let's take a look at the lower section and see what kind of machinery space is necessary to make the machine work. So as you can see, there's a lot of parts associated with the press and the die that need some vertical location underneath the ground. And I think that's what we're seeing at Giga Texas. And in this inset picture, for this example, you can kind of see how that works. So there's space for the machinery, and there's also space for maintenance personnel in the future to be able to access and make any repairs that are necessary. In the left picture, you can see a different kind or example, and you can compare that to what we're seeing in the small pit at Giga Texas. And there's a lot of similarities, and I believe that those projections that we see inside are where the isolation foundation footers for the actual machine rest, and that's what helps support the machine in addition to that roof. So I hope that this helps understand a little bit about what we're seeing and updates you a little bit on the isolation foundations, and hopefully you found that this useful. Okay, these are the areas that we'll be visiting with the drone today. A very busy day across the site, so lots to see. Fortunately, the weather cooperated and it was a perfect day to fly. In the north part of the West Foundation, we see a large crane being assembled, and it should be ready to go sometime today or tomorrow. In the yellow area, we see the footings continue to work across the entire site and continues to work south, and that's great news. In the purple area, the exterior wall footings and base continue, and it's continued to extend to the south. The green area, we see a marked uptick in geopier work. This is a new area, so this is being prepared for more footings moving south. In the pink area, we see a lot of concrete deliveries for that concrete structure and yet another crane being put together. In the concrete structure itself, we see 23 installed columns, more columns on the ground, and 2 of the long roof beams installed. So that's going to add another layer of the roof. In the isolation foundation area, we see the tops of some of the foundations have been poured with concrete, and new footings for the large concrete columns have been added. In the far east section, we go to the contractor area. We see more trailers and a new cleared area. Coming back to the orange area, we see footings installed now on the east and south of the zippered pit, and in the zippered pit we see almost completed footings in the entire length, with 2 remaining on the north. In the steel structure, it's grown again over 400 feet long, and they're adding another section on the south end today. And in the old building up to the north, where they're storing a lot of electrical equipment, we see some deliveries of large rolls of industrial wiring. So that bodes well for the switchyard. So anyway, another very busy day across the site, and these are the areas that we're going to visit. I hope that you found this useful. And one last thing. Just want to say congratulations to SpaceX on an epic test flight yesterday with SN8. Outstanding. Now let's see SN9 fly. Okay, my drones are fully charged and they are ready. Let's go flying over Giga Texas.